Okay, cool. We rolling. All right. So pretty much, what do I look for when I'm buying a house? So right now I'm in transition. Most people know I'm in the military. I'm active duty, and I'm PCSing from Wilmington, North Carolina to Greenville, South Carolina. So leaving in about a month or two, but I have the opportunity to find a house in Greenville. I don't like renting because when you rent, you're throwing money down the drain. You'll never see that money again. When you have your own house or you got a mortgage, you're putting the equity into that house. You working towards something. So I'm about to buy a house in Greenville. But when I buy a house, I look at stuff a little bit different from what most people look at when they're buying a house. So the first thing that I look for when I'm buying a house is the school district that the house falls into. So what I did, I looked in South Carolina. I said best schools in South Carolina, and what I did was I looked on there and I saw the first school that popped up in Greenville, the one that was highest on the list that was in Greenville. That's the zip code that I looked up under for where I want to buy my house at. That school is Wade Hampton High School. So the reason I look at high schools is because usually education and money correlate. So not only did I look at the high school, but I looked at other things around that area that would make people want to go to that school. So usually, if I'm a lawyer or I'm a doctor and I'm moving from, let's just say, Wisconsin to South Carolina, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna try to put my kids in the best school. So that's why I look at school districts, because school districts attract money. Second thing I look for is the cheapest house in that area. So pretty much, I want the cheapest house in that area because you can always change a house. You can tear down a house, put another one there. You can go in, put in laminate flooring, put in freaking granite countertops. The works, whatever you want to do, right? But the thing that you can't change about a house is the location. So everybody's heard that saying, location, 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 right? That shit is real. All right. So what you want to do is you want to have the worst house in the best neighborhood, or the cheapest house in the best neighborhood, so that you can put that equity into that house and then resell it later for a profit or whatnot. Third thing I look at the neighborhood. So once I do my research, I find my good school district, and then I find a pretty good deal. I actually drive out to the house and I want to see the neighborhood. All right, I do this because I want to make sure that the neighborhood isn't crappy. I want to make sure there's no trash, it ain't junky, my neighbors ain't got no Confederate flags everywhere, and or my other neighbor ain't the cat lady. So I do that for a reason because, let's say 5 years down the road, if I ever decide to sell this property, whoever is going to move in after me, they're going to see these same things. So they're going to see their neighbors to the left and the right, and they want to make sure that it's squared away so it doesn't deter anybody from moving into that house. The fourth thing that I look for, I said the fourth thing, right? The fourth thing that I look for is the economy around the house, the area that I'm buying. So let's say if it has a mall in that area, it has great restaurants, a great nightlife, a downtown, mountains, lakes, whatever. I look for things like that that's going to attract people into that area, because who wants to stay at their house 24/7? Hey, I don't care if you have a freaking bowling alley, a basketball court, movie theater in your house. Eventually, you will want to leave out of your house. So I look for things outside of your house that's going to attract you to enjoy your environment. So that's the four things that I look for. Now, do I look for everything else? I look for a lot of other things too. The actual property, how much work I'm gonna have to put into it. What else do I look for? Taxes, insurance, all this other good stuff that goes into it. But those are the four major things that I look for when I'm buying a house. So let's do a refresher real quick. Number one, we're gonna look for a good school district. Number two, we're gonna look for the cheapest house in the best neighborhood. Number three, we're gonna look for a good neighborhood, a decent neighborhood. And number four, we're gonna look for the economy around the house or in the area. And overall, what we're trying to do is in the future either make money on the rental market, or we can resell it for a profit. That's getting into flips, but that's a whole nother ball game. So That's the basics. If you're looking for a house and you need some help, hit me up. And don't forget to subscribe.